Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this edition of the program, The Platform. On this program, we look at the national issues of the Bahamas, and this has been quite a week here in the Bahamas. We have heard charges and counter-charges, and we have heard a whole lot of stories about Clifton and Lyford Key, and then we heard stories told of Louis Bacon and Peter Nygard. And there are many people in the Bahamas who are in support of Peter Nygard, even those people in the government of the Bahamas. And so we are going to continue to talk about this for months to come, I believe. And so on our program today, we are going to be talking about some of the things that Peter Nygard has done and continues to do in the Bahamas. And believe it or not, there are many people who have come out in support of Peter Nygard, giving testimonials about this man and the good that he has been doing in the Bahamas. On our program today, we are going to be speaking with Mr. Douglas Vaval, who is a Bahamian entrepreneur. I've not spoken to him before, but he has volunteered to come on the platform today. Mr. Vaval, welcome to the program.
Good day.
Nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
You know Peter Nygard.
Yes, I do.
When did you meet him?
I met him through his daughter, Bianca. Several years back, we were making a presentation, the Valley Boys,
Yes.
for John Cano, and I met him through Bianca.
And you are a Valley boy then?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So Peter Nygard has given some support to John Cano over the years?
Yes, he has lent his support to the Valley Boys at large.
Yeah.
And so he's helped to develop our culture from his support and the support of his daughter.
And so he has immersed himself in the Bahamian community in culture and other things?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Tell me, when you saw the articles that were written and the alleged stories told,
Yes.
what came to mind?
Well, the thing is, in knowing the Nygard family, I've come to have a great amount of respect for them, and in particular Mr. Nygard, right? And I feel as though he's being unjustly vilified in the public, right? I can only tell you based on my personal experience with the Nygard family and Peter Nygard. I know that, and I'll give you a personal story, right? Where Mr. Winston Gus Cooper, right, the late Winston Gus Cooper, in his illness, when he took ill, Mr. Nygard was one of the first persons to actually come to his aid, where he flew him over to the States to get the primary care that he needed urgently, when nobody else stood up to the plate. And this is at a point in time when Mr. Nygard wasn't even formally introduced to Mr. Cooper, okay? And so for Mr. Nygard to reach out to Mr. Cooper in this way, it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Prime Minister told the story at a particular event. He told the story that it was on a Sunday that he was approached, and he could not get the government to act to get Winston Gus Cooper out to the United States for treatment.
Yes.
And so he called on Peter Nygard. I think Mr. Nygard's daughter had something to do with
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Mr. Nygard, he was actually on a boat at the time. He was sailing in a regatta when his daughter approached him and asked him, listen, this is an urgent situation that we need to get Mr. Cooper over to the States. And he signed the check right away, without hesitation, without knowing Winston Gus Cooper personally. And so this speaks volumes to his character.
And I am told that was a check for a whole lot of money.
Oh, indeed, indeed. And with no repayment stipulations or anything.
Yeah, it's amazing the number of people who found themselves in that particular situation. Carlos Maki tells the same story, that he was afflicted with cancer, and Mr. Nygard had only recently met him and took him to the best medical clinic
Exactly.
in I think the Mayo Clinic, and paid for everything, and even stayed with him during the surgery. So this is amazing. But do you think that the Bahamian people understand what is happening in this whole debacle?
I don't think so. You know why? Because the forces that's against, or seem to be against the Nygard family, they're very strong, right? And it seems as though they're building a story in the media and using the media to more or less blind the public at large, right? And so unless you know and find out the facts and the details, then you would know and see exactly what's going on. Mr. Nygard, to me, you know, he's a fair person. He opened up his home, his estate, to the locals, okay? And I don't know, I can't say for certain, but it seems as though certain persons take exception to that. I can't say who, I can't say why. But this is what it seems to me, okay? And that's my 5 cents.
When you, that's more than 5 cents.
Yeah.
When you read the newspapers and you see these affidavits printed, these 2 young men who made these allegations, and of course this is a matter that is under police investigation. Does it strike you that a person like Peter Nygard would seek to bring harm to anybody?
See, the thing is, in knowing Mr. Nygard, right, I don't see Mr. Nygard doing this type of stuff. What I do see is that persons twisting and turning stories around to suit their needs, right? I got a chance to review one of the videos that they said implicated Mr. Nygard, right? It does no such thing. In fact, Mr. Nygard is firmly against any forms of harm or anything like that against those persons.
Or
From
violence.
what I've seen in the video.
Yes. Yes, what appears in the video is him being frustrated.
Exactly, at the process.
At the process, and that he has not been able to get permission to rebuild his house, and so he was expressing some frustration with the process that going through the government and all of these issues with respect to judicial reviews.
Exactly.
So you can understand that frustration.
Yes.
Yes? What are your friends saying, though, in your group, because you're a person associated with Junkanoo and other forms of entertainment. And Carnival. What are people saying?
Well, the persons, they with me. We are behind the Nygard family, okay? The Nygard family has our support, hands down.
Hands down.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
You know, over the years, Peter Nygard has done more than Junkanoo, has done more than helping people with medical services. Played a vital role in sports development in the Bahamas, the various Olympic teams, people who've gone to the Olympics. Here's an individual who's been in the Bahamas for more than 40 years as a permanent resident. And so his heart is in the country, isn't it?
Exactly. And this is why I opted to come on your show to speak to it, specifically because of my belief that Mr. Nygard has a valuable or an invaluable contribution to make to this country.
And home is where the heart is.
Yes.
And it is clear that his heart is deeply ingrained in the country.
Clearly.
Do you know anything about Louis Bacon and that debacle?
No, I don't know anything about it. I can only speak to the relationship that I have with the Nygard family.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here on our program. And when we return, we are going to be seeing some of the things that Peter Nygard has done. We are going to be speaking with Bianca Nygard on this program. And Nygard is doing a whole lot of things around the world. Many people do not know of the thousands of employees that he has and the reputation that he has around the world. And this particular episode in the Bahamas is causing a lot of concern with his employees and people who love him because of the contribution that he has made, not only in the Bahamas or in Canada, but around the world as a fashion mogul.
Yes, yes.
So we take this break and we'll come right back.